If you have some yoga blocks available, some props, I will be recommending them for class today just to make the ground a little bit closer to our hands. But if you don't have props, totally fine. I'll still cue it, just reaching with fingers. The big thing will be core engagement as we're flowing through this today. And to get started, we are going to get started in a child's pose today. For the first child's pose of class, I always like to cue that we do have 3 variations. The first being knees closed all the way together and allowing your torso to just drape over your legs. This allows for some pretty intense opening through the low spine. It gives you a really nice opportunity to find traction there. Second option is just slightly apart, and this allows for a little bit more depth into the shoulders and into the heart space, makes the ground a little bit closer to your third eye center, but it can be a little bit more intense on the hip flexors. And final option is knees as wide as your mat, traditional child's pose, letting your heart and belly drape between your legs, and try them out. We're going to be here for about 10 to 15 breaths. So that's an extended amount of time. Find the variation that feels right to you and give yourself a chance to find it. Also, in those 10 to 15 breaths, if you need to make any little adjustments, you are not a statue. You're not stuck here. You are allowed to change your mind. So find the shape that you need and then allow for whatever is touching the earth. Maybe it's your forehead, your shins, your forearms, to just drape into the sensation of gravity. And anything that's not touching the earth, allow it to feel the sensation of your breath, to feel the sensation of buoyancy while you're supported on the ground here. Maybe letting your gaze go fuzzy, your eyes can even close. And just begin to do an internal trace. What does the internal landscape look like? What is your body feeling today? What is the shape you need to make? What are you mentally feeling? What mental shape do you need to make? And just allow yourself to begin to feel those breaths lengthen and deepen. Those exhales become a little bit more soft. Those inhales nourish, while those exhales accept. And begin to tap into your intention for today's class, what it is that you need your focus to be for the next hour or so. And mine kind of goes back to the selection of our child's pose. It kind of falls into that opportunity of once you've made a decision, once you've set yourself in this place, you are not a statue. You have the opportunity and permission to change your mind. You have the ability to make tiny shifts or big shifts. Whatever it is that will put you on a different path, end with you being in more comfort, that is totally allowable. Even if you've made your decision, you're allowed to slightly shift and change. And this comes into play in our yoga practice. You can see where your body is for that day, and maybe halfway through you need to ease off a little bit or crank it up a little bit more. And it also works off of our mats, professional, personal, in our physical bodies, whatever it is, we always have the opportunity to find the best route, the best decision for us. And so that's what I'm focusing on for my practice this week. But as always, if there's something else that's calling to you that you need to focus in on, absolute permission to find that space. And let's take 3 more. Really big, nourishing deep inhales into that space, and really deep and slow accepting exhales into that space. 2 more here. On your inhale, breathe all the way down into your pinky fingers and pinky toes. As you exhale, soften something. 1 more. Seal in your intention, seal in the practice, seal in what you need for today. Biggest, slowest, most controlled exhale. And then on your next inhale, find your fingertips, find your knees, and gently press up into our tabletop position. Take some time to get there. And as always, when we arrive here first, opportunity to find some nice sloshy movement. Maybe that's some nice hip or tail wags. Maybe that's some big hip circles or figure eights. Also, if you find an area where you need to give it a little bit more time and attention, permission to find some stillness as well. Whatever it is you need, this is your time, your space. We're again feeling in that intention, permission to find what is making you the most comfort, but also don't get lost in comfort. Maybe sometimes those decisions are to crank it up a little bit, try something new, maybe challenge yourself a little bit more also. So just permission to shift your outlook. At any point in time, it is always there. Once you feel balanced, once you've given your shape the attention it needs, finding that nice, stable, sturdy tabletop position, hands directly underneath your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. Find 3 rolling cat-cows to your breath. Big, deep inhales. Drop your belly, lift your gaze, opening up through that front side of our body. And then as you exhale, use your knees, use your hands, press the earth away while you coil your belly up and in. 2 more, your breath. Inhale, fill up completely, deeply, all the way down into your fingers and toes. And then exhale, pressing it away, using that space to now come into your own shape. Again, testing out where our comfort is. 1 more, inhale, testing out where our body needs to go, where our body needs to be, and where we can go mentally. Exhale, press it away. From this space, create a little bit more space between your hands and knees. Maybe walk those palms forward, palm width distance. Curl those toes under if they're not there already. And press up into our first official downward facing dog. Next opportunity to be really flashy, find the shape you need. Paying attention, pushing more into our fingers than our wrists. Feeling that opportunity to let your heart shift towards your legs. Deep bend in our knees sometimes helps reset that upper torso. And then straightening any amount, it's really early on in class. So heels don't need to touch the earth. Just seeing where you are in this shape and space. Downward facing dog, familiar posture, but this is the first one today. It might have a totally different story it wants to tell you. Let's find a big deep breath into stillness here. Breathe high into those hips. As you exhale, melt something. Maybe it's your heels, maybe it's towards your heart, towards your legs, maybe it's just this mental capacity. And then on an inhale breath, come up onto your tippy toes, reach those hips high. As you exhale, let those heels get heavy. Maybe there's a little bit more space here. Inhale, reach those hips high. Exhale, let those heels sink. This time, inhale, heels high. Look at that space between your hands and give yourself tiny, tiny little steps all the way to the top of your mat. Once you're there, let your head drop down to your shins. Release through that neck, through that spine. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Press into those shins, extend tall through the crown of your head. And then exhale, settle into that forward fold. From this space, heel toe your feet about as wide as your mat. Pretty wide stance here. And then let your right hand stay nice and heavy. Deep bend in your right knee. Inhale, breath, left hand opens up to the side. Find a nice little open twist. Exhale, come back down through midline. Second side, left hand stays heavy, deep bend in that left knee. Inhale, straighten through that right, open up through that right side. Fill up completely. Exhale, come back through midline, twice more each side. Right hand stays heavy, deep bend into that right knee, straighten through that left, open up, twist. Maybe find a centimeter more. Exhale, come back through mid. Inhale, right hand side turn, deep bend into that left knee. We're showing our low spine, a little bit of love here with the twist. One more each side. Inhale, open up through that left. We're opening up through our hamstrings, our hip flexors. A big lower body extension here. Exhale through mid. Beginning to open up through that body, lower body, while we're supported by gravity. Exhale, come down to mid. Release through that neck. Heel to those feet in towards hip width distance. Inhale, halfway lift. Find that extension through the crown of your head. Press into your shins. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. On your inhale breath, step back into your plank pose. First time here today, let's take a couple beats. Find that connection. Again, press more into your fingertips than your wrists. Feel that nice strong line of power, engaging your core. Feel that belly really pull up and in while your crown reaches forward, heels lift back. And then on your exhale breath, we're coming all the way to belly. You can drop to knees or stay in plank. Elbows graze those ribs all the way down. Tops of your toes, press down into the mat. Inhale breath, pull that heart up and through cobra pose. Exhale, release that forehead to the mat. Check in. Any shifts you need to make in your practice today? Can you give it a little bit more? You feeling pretty good? Or do you need to ease up? All are perfect and beautiful options. On your exhale breath, press it away. Hips lift high and back. Downward facing dog. Little reset breath here. Optimally in stillness, but if movement's calling to you, that's what you need. As you inhale, feel those micro movements. Hips lift high, heart melts, shoulders and wrists are at ease. As you exhale, softening something. Maybe it's through the legs, maybe it's through the heart, maybe it's through the mind. Continuing those heel lifts here. Inhale, come up onto your tippy toes. Exhale, melt those heels towards the mat. Inhale, tippy toes. Maybe come a little bit higher, reaching tall. Use your core to get your hips up. Exhale, release. This time, inhale, come up onto your tippy toes. We're looking at that space between your hands. Permission to hop, skip, or jump. Find tiny steps, however you'd like to get to the top of your mat, arriving at the top of our mat. Once you're there, exhale, find that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, press into those shins, extend tall through the crown of your head. Exhale, forward fold, automatically releasing those back of your neck muscles. Big movement here. On your inhale breath, sweep those hands up and around, stand it tall, mountain pose. Exhale, baby back bend, opening up through that heart space. Inhale, stand it tall, mountain pose. On your exhale, our left hand is going to get really, really heavy. Right hand is reaching tall. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, reach over to the side. One more breath here. Inhale, extend through that right side. Maybe press those right hips out to the side. And exhale, let that left hand be as heavy as possible. Maybe it pulls you an inch deeper. Inhale, come up through midline. Reach both hands tall, big, deep, full inhale breath. Moving into second side. Exhale, that right hand gets heavy this time. Left hand is reaching up and over. Inhale, fill up through that side body, reaching as you exhale. One more breath here. Maybe left hips reach out to the side. Left hand reaches up and over towards the right. Use that exhale. Go as deep as you can. Inhale, come up through midline. Reach those fingertips tall. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale, reach those hands tall. Exhale, swan dive into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, press into those shins. Exhale, melt into that fold. Hands make connection with the mat. Step back. into our plank pose, holding on here for 3. Feel that power for 2. Pull that belly up and in. Press through the back of your heart for 1. Exhale, come all the way to belly. Through plank or tabletop, elbows graze your ribs. Tops of your toes, press into the mat. Inhale, breath. Pull that heart up and through. Exhale, release. Inhale, breath. Press it up. Plank or tabletop. Lift those hips high and back. Finding that reset breath. Big, full, deep inhale. Softening release through that exhale. Little change coming up here. Continuing to connect breath with body. But this time, inhale, let that right leg reach high to the sky. First 3-legged dog here. Find those connections, pressing in with those fingers, pressing in with those left toes, feeling gravity as we let that right leg reach high. And now exhale, coil it in. Find that connection with the belly, the connection with the chest. We're looking at that space right between our hands. Gently step it through. Back heel gets heavy. Inhale, cartwheel it all the way up and open. 5-pointed star. And then let your toes point out towards opposite sides. Exhale, sit it low into our horse pose. Hands come to heart center, little surfing motion. And then let your hands come down to your knees. We're using those as traction. Inhale, press your knees away as your heart puffs up and through. Exhale, right shoulder drops down towards left knee. Inhale, come up through midline. Exhale, left shoulder, right knee. Inhale, come up through mid. Exhale, opposite side. We've got a furry friend outside, so we might get some chorus here. Inhale, come up through mid. Exhale, left shoulder, right knee. Inhale, come up through midline. Exhale, sit it low, horse pose. Reach it tall, sweep it tall, 5-pointed star. Exhale, cartwheel it down towards the top of your mat. Inhale, step it back into our plank pose. Find the power, find this connection. We're here for 3. Pull that belly up and in for 2. Puff through the back of the heart space for 1. And then come all the way down to belly. Tops of your toes press in. Engage through that low body. Inhale, pull that heart up and through. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it away. And then hips lift high and back. Downward facing dog. Reset breath here. Breathe into a space you need. Exhale, settle in. Second side. Inhale, let that left leg reach tall to the sky. Finding that connection with both hands and the right foot as your left leg reaches high. Exhale, knee to belly, knee to chest. Looking at that space right between your hands, gently step it through. Back heel gets heavy. Big movement, cartwheel it all the way up. All the way into 5-pointed star, toes reach out. Exhale, sit it low, horse pose. Second round of shoulder dips. Maybe find a little bit more difference. Maybe find a little bit more availability in your upper torso. Make the changes, the adjustments you need. Hands come down to the knees. Inhale, sit it low. Press those knees away. Heart pulls up and through. Opposite side this time. Left shoulder, right knee. Inhale, come up through midline. Sometimes just starting with the less dominant side feels different enough. Right shoulder, left knee. Inhale, come up through mid. Exhale, left shoulder, right. One more. Take your time. Use your arms as tools here. Really find that traction. Inhale, coming up through midline. Exhale, sit it low. Horse pose. Stay here for a beat. Inhale, crown high. Exhale, find your depth. Inhale, sweep those hands tall. 5-pointed star. Little release here, should feel good. Exhale, cartwheel it towards the top of your mat. Pop that back heel up. Inhale, step it back, plank pose. Finding our 3 counts. Find that power. Take it out of your wrist. Grip the mat with your kitten fingertips. Use your core, use your quads, use your glutes, and then come all the way to belly. Tops of your toes press in. Inhale, breath. Pull that heart up and through. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up. Plank or tabletop, hips high and back. Downward facing dog. We've got 3 to 5 breaths here. So if child's pose is calling to you, find that child's pose. If down dog feels strong and stable, you can stay here. If any other variation, maybe tabletop, little lunar pause. This is just an opportunity for us to check back in with that intention. Make sure we are honoring our space, honoring what is best for our shape, honoring what's best for our mind. This is that chance to check in. Whatever intention it was that was calling to you, give it a solid, big breath here. Seal it in with that exhale to the universe. And then if you're not there already, go ahead and meet me in a tabletop position, curling down. Just a little transition for us to be able to get onto our feet. And then using our hands as a grip on our shins, pull that heart up and through. Exhale, settle all the way down onto our backs. Once you're there, keep your knees bent. Inhale those hands up overhead. Big, deep breath. Use that exhale. Feel those shoulder blades press down into the earth. We're gonna let our right leg go nice and long. And then we're gonna take our left hand and let it brace behind our head. On an inhale breath, let that left leg come straight up the wall, straight up like you're pressing onto the ceiling with your left foot. Inhale. And then as you exhale, you're gonna tap your right fingers to your left toes. Keep space underneath your chin. We're not crunching our chin in. We're staying nice and lifted through the heart. Inhale, extend. Exhale, tap those toes. Inhale, extend. Exhale, tap those toes. You can stay here with your legs straight up the wall as you're tapping those toes. If you would like to up level it, if you need a little bit more, drop that left leg until it hovers over the earth, and then exhale, tap. Inhale, extend. Exhale, tap. Your left leg can stay up the wall, or you can find that little bit more engagement, if you've got it, if that's what is calling to you, by hovering that left leg. As you inhale, everything extends out. As you exhale, you tap. We're staying on this left side to start, finding this engagement. We're already at our last 5, 4, keep it going, 3, 2, 1 more. Hold it up there, pulse it out. We got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big deep breath. Everything extends out. Feel those left obliques release. Give yourself a little hip wag if that feels right. And then starting off with knees bent. Bring that right hand back behind your head, using that as a basket grip, not crunching our chin to our chest. Inhale, release that left hand up overhead and left leg long. Take that right leg straight up the wall. Here's one of my adjustments. I'm just going to call it out. I'm having some sciatic pain, so my leg is not going to go straight up the wall. We're going to find a nice little bend here. As you inhale, reach, exhale, tap those toes. Inhale, reach, exhale, tap. Keeping that leg straight up the wall, or if it's calling to you, you can take that dip. Using your breath, exhales as you tap. Inhale, extend. Exhales as you tap. Open mouth exhales helps release that heat. Keeping your legs straight up if that is what's calling to you, or using this as an opportunity to find that right leg hovering over the earth. Use those exhale breaths to crunch. We're already at our last 5. Last 4. Last 3. 2. And on 1, hold it up there, pulse it out. We've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it all go. Big release. You can let your legs fall long, or maybe windshield wipers is calling to you, especially if you are experiencing low back pain. With some restriction through that back of your right leg, maybe some windshield wipers feels nice. Find whatever shape it is you need to release from that pretty intense core work. And then once you feel balanced, pull those knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a squeeze here. Maybe one more little low back massage, especially if you weren't doing windshield wipers. And then begin to rock and roll up and down the length of your spine, gaining enough momentum that you can cross over those ankles, plant those hands, step it back, plank pose, and then just lift those hips high and back into our downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Find this as an opportunity to reinvigorate. Yes, it's a little lunar pause after that solar core work, but it's also an opportunity to feel the buoyancy. We're arriving off the ground now. Again, a little shift, something that is working in our favor here. One more big breath. Find the buoyancy, find the release, find the energy you need. Use that exhale, soften something. On your inhale breath, right leg reaches high to the sky. Reach it tall. As you exhale, knee to belly, knee to chest, looking at that space right between our thumbs. Gently step it through. Back heel gets heavy. Little change this time. Stay low in that front knee. Inhale, cartwheel it up. And then exhale, sit it low into our warrior 2. We're here for a couple breaths. So find this connection from the ground up. Little shifts as you need, little variations as you find in your body. So pressing your toes away from each other, that back left knife edge of your foot really anchoring in, pressing away. And now check in with your front knee. Make sure your front knee is in line with that big toe. You should be able to see your big toes. If it's dipping in or if it's really far out, find that balance right in the middle and then sit it low. Inhale, feeling those toes reach away. Now exhale, pull those inner thighs in towards each other. Moving that into our arms. As you inhale, you reach. But as you exhale, you soften those shoulders. Inhale, grow tall through the crown of your head. Maybe grow an inch in your torso, but sit lower an inch in that front leg. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, we're going to reach through those right fingertips. Here comes the opportunity for a prop. Use your block or your jar right in front of that right foot, and then use that as an opportunity to press in. So we're taking that out of our obliques. We're using our obliques to stay lifted. We're not sinking into our side body. You can even find the tall variation if that feels like it gives you a little bit more control here. And then lift that heart up and through. So props are always an option, but especially when I'm cueing them, it really makes a big difference to just find these little changes that we can experience in our body, these little changes that we can find for comfort, or maybe that edge, maybe a little bit more. That's what they're there for. We got one more big breath here. I know that right leg is shaking. Use that exhale, find that release. On your inhale breath, that left hand pulls you tall, straighten through that front leg. Reverse triangle. Open up through that side body with just use the lat for that core work with obliques, but also in that extended side. As you exhale, tee out those arms and heel toe that back foot in a couple feet worth. Give your hips some room to boogie here because we're going to use them as our prop here. As you exhale, we're going to press that left hip out to the left. Reach that right hand sideways. We're keeping that right leg extended. And now opportunity for that prop. So we're now in triangle pose. So very similar to extended side, but we just have a little bit more room through our limbs to come in and play. We got an awesome up dog demonstration here from Augie. Keep that breath going. Hey, as you inhale, lift that heart. As you exhale, little soft opening. that wasn't even because of a furry friend. That was just because he wanted attention. One more big breath here. Soften something on that exhale. On your inhale breath, move that prop out of the way. Let that hand pull you up and open into our 5-pointed star. This time our toes are going to point in towards each other. Actually, I lied. We do still need that prop. So make sure you have that prop close to you, in front of you, 5-pointed star. And then toes knock in, heels knock out. As you exhale, swan dive it. Find that forward fold. But using our prop, we're going to reach it out in front of us so that we almost have like a halfway lift with our torso. We're using that prop so our hands are a little bit more elevated so you can melt your heart and your head in between your hands. If it feels better to have two, a little bit of a wider grip, that is an opportunity. You can have both hands on one. That's what feels right for my shoulders. That gives me the right amount of tension, the right amount of relief. So we're using this as an opportunity to get a little bit deeper into our shoulders, through our chest. Our head is still really, really soft. We're not holding our neck up here. We're still releasing through our torso, but we're pressing this prop out in front of us. If you don't have props, just take tented fingertips. So just our fingertips while your wrists lift high, reaching out in front of you. And even if you do have a prop, maybe give that a try, see if that's what you need. Again, the theme of the class is to find the opportunities, find these variances, find this ability. We got 2 more breaths here. Use that inhale. As you exhale, soften. On your inhale breath, walk those hands back underneath your shoulders. Now we do have this wide-legged forward fold. And as you exhale, walk over towards that right hand foot, a little side bend here. Inhale, come up through midline. Walk it over towards the left, little counter stretch. Inhale, come up through mid, halfway lift, engage that core, keep it there, and then sweep those hands tall, 5-pointed star. Exhale, cartwheel it towards the top of your mat. Drop down to that back knee. And then heel toe that front foot out to the outside edge of your right hand. So we've got a really wide stance here. Inhale, find your halfway lift, opportunity for a prop here as well. So we're getting just as much into our left hip flexor, our left glute, as we are into that right outer leg. This is our peak pose for right now. So it should feel a bit intense. It should feel pretty like a lot of movement, but we are supported by the earth. We are supported by gravity. Again, if you don't have the props, just stay nice and proud, but lean into where you do feel that little bit of tension, that little bit of a stretch, but only go to the point of stretch. Don't find any point of pain. Give yourself 3 more breaths here. Keep that heart nice and proud. Keep that crown nice and tall. We're not sinking into anything here. We're not finding pain here. We're using our muscles and our control and these opportunities to find little variances. On your next exhale, gently come out of that lunge. Hands come back down to the mat. Heel toe that front foot in towards midline. Activate through that back leg. Step it back, plank pose. Find that power. We're here for 3, 2, now 1. Come all the way to belly. Top of your toes, press in. Inhale, pull that heart up and through. Exhale, release. Inhale, breath. Press it up. Plank or tabletop. Let those hips lift high and back. Downward facing dog. Reset breath here. Inhale, big deep breath into where you need it. Maybe it's your hips, heart, head. Use that exhale, soften. Moving into second side. Inhale, let that left leg reach high to the sky. Reach it tall. Really breathe it nice and proud. Exhale, knee comes to belly. Knee comes to chest. Look at that space right between your thumbs. Gently step it through. Back heel drops down towards the earth. Inhale, sweep it up and around. Exhale, sit it low into your warrior two. Same opportunities here, same build. So building from the ground up. As you inhale, connect with that knife edge of your right foot. Press into those toes, pressing everything away. As you exhale, find your depth. Check in with that front knee. Make sure it's in line with the toe. We're not dipping in or dipping out. We're staying nice in alignment. Use those quads, use those hip flexors to find that control. Inhale, reaching away. Exhale, engage those inner thighs, pull them up and in. Bringing that into our fingertips. Inhale, reach those fingertips out. Exhale, soften those shoulders, maybe sit it low. Inhale, reach tall through the crown of your head, but find that depth. We're here for one more breath. Settling in as you exhale. On this inhale, reach out through those fingertips and then reach with that left opportunity to find that prop right in front of your left foot. I apologize, you might not be able to see my face here. I realize I am directly in the sun, but finding that connection with the earth. Again, find the variance that feels right. Maybe it's the tallest level, halfway, maybe it's the shortest level. But again, this opportunity for a prop is where we find those little opportunities to maybe find some more depth, maybe find a little bit more of a heart opener, maybe find a shape that you hadn't felt in this extended side before. And give yourself 2 more breaths here. Use those exhales to find your depth. Don't lose that front lunge. On your inhale breath, let that top hand pull you tall, straighten through that left leg, reverse triangle. Feel this shape here. We're releasing through those left obliques. We're releasing through that left leg. Nice opening sensation. And then exhale, tee out those arms. Heel toe that right foot in a couple foot distances. And then really begin to kick that right hip out towards the right. As you exhale, reach with those left fingertips and come back towards that prop. Again, play with the variance, play with where the side is, what shape, and just see how this triangle pose feels a little bit different than maybe the triangle poses you have without those props. If you don't have a prop, you can just press the back of your hand into your shin, maybe find a little bit higher sensation than you usually do to give yourself that chance to feel that opportunity through those side bodies. Finding a couple big deep breaths here. Opening up through that heart. Feeling that sensation in your shape, making those adjustments that you might need. On your next inhale breath, keep that prop close. Let that top hand pull you tall all the way up into your 5-pointed star. Heels knock out, toes knock in. And then as you exhale, swan dive it, melt into that prasarita. Second extended prasarita. So again, we're gonna walk either tented fingertips forward, 1 or 2 props, reaching them out as far in front of you as you can handle in your shape, in your sensation. And then once you're there, let your torso melt down in between your arms, melt towards your legs. Maybe shake your head yes, shake your head no. Make sure you're not holding any tension there. We should feel sensation in our shoulders, but we shouldn't feel pain. We shouldn't feel like we have to guard here. We're just allowing ourselves to drape down. Big release for our hamstrings, big release for our shoulders, maybe even getting into our obliques, our side bodies, letting yourself find that stability. Give yourself 2 more breaths here. Sending those inhales to where you feel sensation, letting those exhales go. 1 more big breath. On your next inhale breath, walk those hands back underneath your shoulders, move that prop out of the way. Exhale, reaching it over towards the left-hand side. Inhale, come up through mid. Reach it over towards that right-hand side. Inhale, halfway lift, and then reach it tall, 5-pointed star. Exhale, cartwheel it down towards the top of your mat. Drop that back heel down, or knee down, heel toe that front foot out to the outside of both your hands. So it's out to the left-hand side. If you have it available, you can find that prop and then find that nice open extended runner's lunge here. So again, we're finding this sensation. We're keeping our heart and our crown nice and tall, nice and proud. We're not crunching in at all. We're using the gravity. We're pressing against gravity to get into that back hip flexor, to get into our left outer thigh or left outer glute, and using our props, using this opportunity to stay nice and proud and maybe find a little bit more depth. Give yourself 3 more breaths here. Again, peak pose. It should feel intense. It can feel intense, but not pain. Anytime there's pain, ease off. And this is also a very supported peak pose. We're using gravity as an opportunity here. So maybe find that edge. Maybe the opportunities are to push yourself a little bit more. 1 more big breath. As you exhale, gently come out. Move that prop out of the way. Allow that front foot to heel toe back in towards midline. Activate through that back leg. Inhale, step it back, plank pose. We're here for 3, 2, and then on 1, come all the way to belly. Elbows graze those ribs. Tops of your toes press in first. And then inhale, breath, pull that heart up and through. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up and back, hips high and back, downward facing dog. 3 breath reset here. Use this as an opportunity. Hips lift a little bit higher, heart melts a little bit closer, hamstrings release a little bit more. Familiar posture, different story right here. This next little section, we're just gonna find breath to body, breath to movement, connecting all of that strength we've just built. And again, finding these opportunities for improvement, opportunities for change, for shift, or opportunities to know that what we just did was exactly perfect, and that's what we're going to continue to do. On your inhale breath, right leg lifts high to the sky, reach it tall. As you exhale, knee comes to belly, knee comes to chest. Looking in that space right between our hands, gently step it through. Back heel drops down towards the earth. Inhale, cartwheel it up and open. Exhale, sit it low, warrior 2. We're here for a breath. Use that breath. Inhale, everything extends, everything reaches apart. Exhale, everything reaches back in. Inhale, reach through those right hands. Exhale, elbow comes down, reach that hand high. Opportunity for prop in front of that hand. Again, we're here for 1 breath. Inhale, press into the earth, press into the prop, press against your leg. As you exhale, open it up, little baby back bend. Inhale, that top hand pulls you high, all the way up and around, reverse triangle, straighten through that front leg. Use that exhale to reach. Inhale, tee out those arms, heel toe that back foot in a couple feet distance. And then as you exhale, reach through that right hand, keeping a nice straight front leg, little micro bend in that knee, and then find that prop or find the back of the hand pressing into your shin. We're here for 1 breath. Inhale, expand through everything. Exhale, reach it away. Inhale, that top hand pulls you up and around. Knock those right toes in towards midline, 5-pointed star. As you exhale, traditional prasarita, just a wide-legged forward fold. Let your head get heavy. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. Inhale, halfway lift, hands underneath your shoulders. Exhale, melt into that forward fold. Go automatically to that full release. Little change coming up here. Inhale, sweep it tall, all the way into your 5-pointed star. As you exhale, let those right toes pop back out. Opportunity for prop coming up. As you exhale, enter into that extended side. You can stay here. If this is where your body is, if this is where you need to be, this is perfect. Finding 3 breaths here. If you would like to challenge, if you need to up level, if you want to give it a try, you can always come back here if your body says no, thank you. Hop that back foot in using your prop, and then gently press it out in front of your front toes while you let that left leg fly. My drishti point during half moon here is usually down in front of my fingers, but maybe it's out in front of you. Again, just like everything has been expanding throughout class today, give yourself 3 breaths. Fingers reaching down, fingers reaching high, toes reaching down, toes reaching out. Even if you're just an extended side, this also works for 3, 2, 1. Soft landing, back and extended side if you're there. Inhale, hands pull you tall. 5 pointed star. Exhale, cartwheel it down towards the top of your mat. Inhale, step it back, plank pose. Use this plank pose as a reset. Find the power, find that strength. We're coming back to gravity, away from that half moon. Exhale, come all the way to belly. Tuck your toes, press in. Inhale, pull that heart up and through. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up. Plank or tabletop, hips lift high and back. Downward facing dog. Reset breath here. Pull in the power. Pull in the strength. Pull in any little shift you need. Use that exhale. Soften. Inhale. That left leg breathes high to the sky. Reach it tall. As you exhale, knee comes to belly. Knee comes to chest. Looking at that space right between your hands. Gently step it through. Back heel gets heavy. Inhale, sweep it up and around. Exhale, lands in our warrior 2. 1 breath here. Go to your limit, go to that edge. We're only here for breath. Inhale, reach everything out and away. Exhale, pull everything back in. Inhale, allow that left hand to reach forward, reach. And then hand comes down towards the prop or elbow presses into the back of the knee while your right hand reaches tall. Little baby back end here. We're here for 1 breath. Inhale, expand through everything. Exhale, open it up. Inhale, that top hand pulls you tall. Reverse triangle, straighten through that front leg. Reaching through that left side body. Use that exhale, go to your depth. Inhale, come back through midline, tee out those arms. Let that back foot heel toe in, a foot width distance, and then right hips out, left reaches forward, and hand comes back down towards that prop. Right hand reaches tall. Find your depth here, using that prop, pressing away from gravity, opening up through that heart space. Inhale, breath. That top hand pulls you high, 5 pointed star. Let those left heels pop out, toes point in. Exhale, swan dive it. Find that traditional prasarita, wide-legged forward fold, all the way, releasing that neck. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release into that fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and then keep it going. Stand it tall. Left toes pop back out. Exhale, sit it low. We're starting off in our extended side. Reach. Hand comes down to the prop or towards the earth. And you can stay here. If this is where your shape is, this is perfect. You can stay here, or you can hop that back foot in while that prop reaches out in front of you, and then find that expansion. We're pressing down through our left side body while we're reaching up through our right side body. Wherever you are, we're here for 3. Shine that heart, little baby back bend for 2. Expand everything. Soft landing on 1. Inhale, 5 pointed star. Exhale, cartwheel it down towards the top of your mat. Inhale, step it back, plank pose. Little change coming up here. We're here for 3, 2, then come down to your knees. and find flashy movements. Whatever it is you need to release. Maybe it's pressing back into a child's pose. Maybe it's finding hip rotations, hip circles. And again, if you find any area that's hitching, that maybe needs a little bit of attention, permission to stay there. Give yourself 2 to 3 more breaths wherever you need to go to balance out. Give each side the same amount of love, same amount of attention. And then once you're balanced, you go ahead, curl over those ankles or sweep them out to the side. Give yourself a nice tall seat, gripping those shins with our hands, pull that heart up and through. Feel energetic space in between each one of your vertebrae. And then as you exhale, melt down all the way onto our backs. Once you're there, give yourself a nice big stretch. Toes reach forward, fingertips reach up overhead. Use that exhale, feel gravity take over completely. On your inhale breath, let that right knee curl up and in, giving yourself a tight squeeze. Find a basket grip right below your knees. Now, first and foremost, pull that thigh in towards your belly. Really breathe into that thigh, a nice low belly massage. And then move your knee out of the way of your ribs, pulling it more up and in towards your right armpit, right shoulder. And just see how that little shift, that little change, what different opportunities it brought into your body. And use that as an example off the mat too. Just that little shift, just moving to the right a couple inches, totally different sensation, totally different opportunity. On an exhale breath, let that left hand pull you over towards the left hand side. Right hand reaches out towards the right, gaze goes to the right. A nice, gentle supine twist. In these supine twists, nothing is active, nothing is forced. We're just letting our body, letting gravity take over. Using your breath, sending those inhales to where might need a little bit of attention, a little focus, a little release, and letting those exhales find that release. 2 more breaths on this side. On your next inhale, let that right leg come back towards midline. Give yourself 1 more squeeze here. And then swap it out with the left. Let that right leg go nice and long. Left leg comes up and in. Giving yourself that tight, tight squeeze. Try the opposite basket grip, opposite thumb on top. And again, breathe into your leg. Use your thigh as a nice low belly massage, working out any tension, any sensation we get throughout our core, our belly, throughout life, letting that be a guide to help you with those little opportunities of maybe a shift is needed, or maybe I need to lean into this. On an exhale breath, move that knee out to the outer edge. Again, recognizing that little shift, reaching up and in towards that left shoulder now. And it just, again, 2-inch difference, and all these different opportunities open up. Now, let that right hand guide that knee over towards the right hand side. Gaze goes towards the left hand out a basket or a cactus grip, or maybe straight out at a T. Wherever you are though, gravity and breath are the only 2 forces of action on your body, on your shape. The only 2 things that you need to worry about. Allowing yourself to find the release through breath. The nourishing inhales going to any point that needs it. Those accepting exhales, allowing it to release. Give yourself 2 more breaths here. On your next inhale, gently let that left knee come back in towards midline. Give it one more squeeze to itself, and then right knee comes up to meet left. Crunching everything. Activate through your feet, through your calves, your shins, your quads, your hamstrings. Squeeze your glutes, your belly, your low back. Activate through that mid-core region. Now get your chest and shoulders involved. Crunch your hands, your forearms, your biceps, and your triceps. Now get your neck involved. Let your head curl up towards your knees, kissing those knees. Now scrunch your face, activating every single muscle in your body. Big inhale here. And then as you exhale, let it all go. Legs fall away from each other. Arms fall out in space. And now actively release through each of those muscles. Soften through your toes, your feet. Let your shins and calves release. Hamstrings and quads are floating in space. Let your glutes soften. Your low belly is just moving with your inhales and exhales. Your chest and shoulders feel heavy and supported on the mat. Release any shape you're holding in your hands and your fingers. Let your neck soften. Let your jaw release. Release any shape you're holding in your face. Let your tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. And then finally, that third eye center. Let yourself float off into Shavasana. Slowly begin to bring that awareness back into your room, back onto your mat, and back into your mind. Let that awareness spread throughout your body, allowing your breath to become a little bit more intentional. And gently reawakening your shape by wiggling your toes, raising each fingertip with your thumb, and finding any other little adjustments that you need to allow you to arrive back into your shape. Once you're there, on an inhale breath, let those fingertips reach up overhead. Big deep inhale, softening exhale. Take one more big deep breath, recognizing right or left hand side, whichever side is calling to you. Right side for external solar energy, left side for internal lunar energy. Allow your knees to pull up and in towards chest and roll onto that side, that bicep, giving yourself this final shape, this final posture of reawakening, re-welcoming yourself back into the day, back into whatever lies ahead of you, with the power of knowing that we have the ability to find tiny shifts that might make a big difference for our future. Keeping your eyes closed or soft, gently press up, finding a comfortable seated position towards the top of your mat. Once you're there, bring your hands together at heart center, drop your chin towards chest, thanking self first and foremost for showing up, for moving, for breathing, for giving yourself this hour. And then on an inhale breath, bring those hands together up at that third eye center, lift the chin slightly in a sign of appreciation and awareness of the energy and effort we were able to share. Please know, the inner teacher and light within me so appreciates and so recognizes the inner teacher and light within each of you. And when we say this, to bow our heads and to say namaste.